Right. So bring questions.
Welcome guys, welcome back to my live. Thank you so much for stopping in. Welcome to those of you who are looking on Instagram and also to those on Facebook. Thank you so much for passing by, for stopping in, and also for staying in. If this is your first time to our lives, welcome. Welcome to Dinners from Around the World with me, Chef Walker-Barrett. Today's dinner is inspired by Chinese cooking, a little Italian cooking, and of course, as always, we're mixing it up with some Jamaican flavors. So, I am going to be making a fresh pasta. That is the Italian inspiration. And then I'm going to be putting some Asian flavors on it, some Chinese flavors on it. One of my favorite street food to eat is udon noodles. And when they put that Szechuan peppercorn, nice and spicy and filled with umami. So we're going to be putting those same flavors on our fettuccine. And for the Jamaican aspect, I'm adding some cornmeal into my fresh pasta today and a little turmeric just for character to bring all the flavors together. So I can't wait to show you how simple it is to make your fresh pasta. So welcome, welcome, and welcome to you all.
McPherson's Catering says, good evening, Chef and family.
Good evening.
Aliman says, Chef, you step right out, man, looking lovely.
So guys, tell us where you're watching
Jenkins
from. Hi Cheryl. So for my fresh pasta, I'm using 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 cup of refined cornmeal with 1 tablespoon of turmeric and a tablespoon of black pepper, cracked black pepper to be exact. I'm doing it in the blender, well in the food processor, because I don't want to get my hands all sticky with dough. So if you have a food processor, just throw it all in and give it a mix. I also added some salt. Alright, so I am going to combine this. Now if you don't have a food processor, don't worry. You can just make this with your hands. So in goes egg number 1. These eggs are fresh, so I'm just going to break them directly in. And I'm using 3 eggs for this. Alright, so the egg will make the fresh pasta nice and airy and tender. Alright, so do not skimp on the eggs. I'm going to add some olive oil in. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Alright, so I'm starting with 3 eggs. I'm not sure how it is going to work just yet. Because of the cornmeal, we might need a little bit more liquid. So on standby, I'm going to have a little bit of water. Now you can use all eggs, but I'm a little low on eggs today, so I'm using 3 eggs to see what happens. I'm going to stop and give it a feel, and it needs a little moisture just as I thought it would, so I'm going to add that in. And there we go. Now if you're making it, if it is sticky, no worries. If it's sticky, you add a little more flour. If it is dry, you add a little bit of water. I think I added a little bit too much water in.
876 how this tastes. Says big up chef from 876 in St. Mary.
Hello. So I'm just adding a little more flour in. And we're pulsing, pulse until the dough comes together. And we're good. That's all there is. Let me just clean away this. Tashilia, could you just reach the plastic? So guys, this is what it looks like. Let me just remove this. Wait, just unplug that for me, please. So, I am pleased to show you what our fresh pasta dough looks like. This is what it looks like. So you don't be afraid when you're cooking. You know, say if you're making a dough, if it is dry, it needs more liquid. If it is wet, it needs a little bit more flour. Very, very, very simple rules. And so pasta is an Italian thing. All pastas are made using either semolina flour or regular flour, using eggs or using just water. Most commercial pasta, they're made using flour and water, and then they're cut into the shapes that we come to love, and then they're allowed to dry, and so that we can have it whenever we want it. So note that all pasta was once fresh before it became dry. Alright, so I love the feel of this dough. So after you make the dough, very important to relax your dough. So I'm going to wrap this. Take out that plastic, Ash. I'm going to wrap this into plastic, and we're going to just let it relax right here. Very, 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 very simple. So for those who are just joining, welcome again. Let us know where you're watching from. I think I'm going to save my bench flour because I'm going to need it a little later on when I'm rolling out our pasta. So now guys, on to dessert. And so tonight I am making carrot cake. It's very easy to make, and if you want to see the tutorial on how to make a carrot cake, you can go over to my YouTube channel. It's called Nextinfood, and you can view the tutorial. We have a pumpkin muffin up there as well, so you choose. Alright, so now that our table is clean.
Mario Mills, hi chef, happy Sunday. Mario here. Glad to see you making pasta. Just did a batch of linguine.
Hey Maria, how are you? So Mario, I'm going to put some Asian flavor on the pasta tonight. I find myself becoming more and more lactose intolerant, so I prefer the Asian flavors versus cream and cheese on pastas these days. So in this container, guys, I have 1 cup of brown sugar, and I'm adding 2 eggs, and this is the base for our carrot muffin. And our carrot muffin is going to be our dessert for this evening. And of course, traditionally, cream cheese and carrot cake goes hand in hand together. So I'm going to do it a little bit different. So stick around and you'll see how that is.
Jacqueline Morgan says Jackie watching from Homewood.
Hi Jackie. So I'm going to put this on my mixer, guys, and let it mix. So I'm using up all the machines tonight. I'm not doing anything by hand. I am mixing as much as I can with my machine. Okay, so we have our eggs and sugar.
Mario Mills, LOL, 1 pound versus start and evening.
Yes, Mario, exactly. Okay, so for my carrot cake, I have 2 cups of freshly grated carrots. 2 cups of freshly grated carrots. I love the flavor of raisins, so I've added half cup of chopped raisins. I also have 2/3 cups of oil, and so this along with the sugar and the eggs are my liquid ingredients. And so for our dry ingredients, guys, I'm using 1 cup of almond flour and 2 cups of all-purpose flour, baking powder and baking soda, and of course all the warm spices like ginger, cinnamon and nutmeg. They're all in here, so I'm just gonna give them a mix. I'm gonna go over to the mixer and I'm going to add all of our remaining wet ingredients, and then I'm going to be adding the dry ingredients to come back. So guys, in goes my carrots and raisin. Just want to give it a mix, and then in goes our flour and baking powder all at once. Just dump it all in, and then I'm going to mix that on low. Alright, so how fast is that? So I have my muffin pan here. I'm using one of the larger muffin pans. What I did, I lined them with some brown paper and grease paper. So if you're making muffin and you don't have the store-bought muffin liners, you can use grease paper or brown paper as your liner. They protect the muffins when you're baking, and it makes it so much easier to come out of the pan. I also have some nuts. I'm using pecans. I love pecans, so I always try and use it. And then this is our cream cheese that we're going to be adding to our muffin. All right. So this is what it looks like. So let's just clean the paddle. Now, isn't it wonderful how we always bake our fruits in our baked goods and our vegetables? You know, some persons, they would not eat carrot fresh, but they'll eat a carrot muffin. So putting vegetables in your baked goods is a very simple way to get your vegetables in your diet. You can drink your vegetables by making a drink with the carrot or whatever vegetable you like, and the same thing goes for your fruits. So this is what our batter looks like. It's nice and thick, and that's how we want it. So I'm going to go in for my portion scoop, and I'm adding.
Bridget says hi.
Hi Bridget. This is a 2-ounce portion scoop. So I'm adding 2 ounces first to each cup. Oh my word, guys, I didn't turn my oven on. I need to turn my oven on. Hold on. Always want to preheat your oven. Make sure that it's nice and hot. All right. So to each muffin, what I'm doing tonight, I'm baking the cream cheese in. So I'm putting roughly about a tablespoon of cream cheese in each muffin. The cream cheese is just going to soften up a little bit during the baking process. So when you bite into this muffin, you will have that nice cream cheese center. And so you still get that beautiful cream cheese flavor that goes so well with carrot cake. All right, so.
McPherson's catering asked for using the baking soda.
I'm sorry?
McPherson's catering asked if you used any baking soda.
Oh yes, I did. Once you're making a carrot cake, you have to use baking powder and baking soda. Baking powder gives the baked product its first rise, and baking soda will give it its second rise. I'm filling these all the way up because I want them to be nice and big, and that's what the liner does. It gives you a little extra room. I'm a muffin girl. I love muffins. Okay, so in goes some nuts. Just put it all in. If you don't have any nuts, don't worry. This has nothing to do with the texture of the cake or the muffin in this instant. This is just extra. Well, it doesn't have anything to do with how the finished product is going to taste in terms of softness. What it is doing is adding extra crunch and extra depth of crunch to the carrot cake. So you can use whatever nuts you like. What I'm doing here, I'm just kind of sticking it in so that they don't burn in the baking process. All right. And I'm just waiting until our oven warm up a little bit, and then I'm going to put it into the oven at 350.
First Lady Jules says just beginning.
Hey Jules. Alright guys, so tonight's dinner is very simple. So I was telling you my inspiration is, might sound weird, but it works. So fettuccine is a ribbon-shaped pasta, and fettuccine is Italian. All right, it kind of seems like all Italian words end with a vowel. You guys find that to be so? Let me know. So fettuccine is the type of the pasta. We're making fresh pasta, meaning we made it up ourselves. And then for my sauce, instead of putting, say, cream or cheese, I'm using some Chinese flavors on it. So I always make a chili oil where I take Szechuan peppercorn, ginger, garlic, and West Indian red chilies. That's the Jamaican part, and I steep that in oil and I put that in a jar. I'm going to show you what that looks like.
First Lady Jules says pleasant evening to you, Diva and
Hi. So this is my chili oil, guys. It's very easy to make. If you love pepper, you can go ahead and make it. So I use those red peppers that some people might refer to as Scotch bonnet pepper, but they're really West Indian red chili peppers. They are very hot, but it doesn't kill the taste bud like a Scotch bonnet would. It is very addictive, in my opinion. Whenever you eat that pepper, it's hot, and then it cools down, and then you want to go back for some more. So this is my chili oil. I use a very, very neutral oil. I hope you guys can see it. And so this is what's going to go on our pasta tonight to finish it. So I'm going to put that off to the side. Also, I'm adding some salmon to our pasta, and in this container I have some sweet vinegar. Now this is a Chinese style fermented vinegar. I don't know how it is made. It's just that it tastes tart and sweet at the same time. This is also light soy sauce and ginger and garlic and sugar, and this is what's going to glaze our salmon for our protein tonight. A little bit of salmon, lots and lots of fresh pasta, and lovely umami fermented flavors. That's going to be our sauce for our pasta. And of course, we are going to be adding in some veggies. So I found some green beans in my fridge, so I just cooked them. We're gonna add them into our pasta, and I also have some spinach that I'll be adding to my pasta. Okay guys, so stick around to see how that is done. I'm gonna put my muffins in because the oven is now nice and hot. So that goes in. Get the apron on because I want to roll some pasta.
Jerome Daniels, hi teacher.
Hi Jerome, how are you? So I have a little pasta roller tonight. It's the KitchenAid and it is attached to the KitchenAid mixer. So I'm going to transfer the mixer onto this side so that you guys can see everything in action. Sheila, could you go around for the silver tray, please? Alright, so mixer. What other way? I have to turn it this way because this can't stretch. Alright, so this is my fettuccine pasta cutter. I'm going to show you how it works shortly.
Jerome Daniels, I'm good. Daniels.
Thanks for stopping in, Jerome. And for those of you who are stopping in for the first time, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Can you believe this, guys? We are celebrating 1 year of doing the live. How time flies. We actually started our live last year, last year May, right? So we have fully completed 1 year of showing you how I make dinner for my family. So thank you guys who have been here from the beginning, and thanks to those guys who came on as the weeks goes by. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to start rolling my my pasta. If I could only find the knife. So I'm going to take a little piece off. Resting it is important. So let's start with a small piece and see what happened. Tiny piece, like about 2 ounces. Let's see how much. This is about 3 ounces. Now, whenever you're working with flour, it's very important to rest the flour to develop the gluten, because once you add a liquid to the flour and you give it a mix, you start to activate the gluten in the flour. And gluten is not such a bad thing, guys. The gluten is really the protein in the flour. Sadly, there are a few persons in the world that is allergic to this plant gluten. I'm very sorry to hear that. But once you're working with gluten, you have to rest it. So whether it is a fritter you're making, or you're making a fried dumpling, or even a boiled dumpling that us Jamaicans love so much, if you make up your white flour dumpling dough and just rest it for 10 minutes and then boil it, you can see the difference, taste the difference, versus if you just make it up and cook it same time. So next time you're making dumpling, give it a rest before you boil it, and tell me if you do not notice a little difference in the texture. So my pasta roller, well, my pasta cutter, so I only have a pasta cutter, so it means I have to be rolling this dough out manually. So let's see. So I'm gonna roll this to a 1/8 of an inch thickness. And you see what's going on here? The fact that you allow the dough to rest, rolling it becomes so much easier. So light strokes, back and forth, back and forth. I'm really going for something that looks like an oval or a rectangle. So Ashelia, come and give us a little, can you see what we're doing? Give us a little close-up. Alright, just want the guys to see what our dough looks like. So I'm brushing off the excess flour on top. So this bright yellow color in the dough, guys, is from turmeric. Turmeric is a spice. It grows like ginger. Some Jamaicans refer to turmeric as yellow ginger. And turmeric is one of the main ingredients in West Indian style curry. Alright, so it's actually 90% and sometimes more turmeric in our curries. That's why we have that yellow color. So this is a Jamaican part of it. Turmeric is not only unique to Jamaica. You can find it in almost every market around the world. I really think turmeric came to us from Asia. Wherever it came from, it's a wonderful spice, and it says to have medicinal properties. So guys, the thinner you roll the pasta dough, the nicer it is. So I'm going for a 1/8 of an inch thickness. What does that mean? It means that it should be really thin along here. And when I put my hand under it, I can actually see my hand, my fingers. So that's a good sign. The flour that I keep putting on is to prevent the dough from sticking. All right, so let's give it just a little bit more roll. Go in, could you plug this in for me, please? So this looks fine. I'm not going for perfection tonight. I'm going for flavor. So if I wanted perfect rectangle, I could have shaped the dough in a rectangle, but that's fine. I am just gonna cut it.
Colette Walker, blessing chef and family.
Hey Colette, thank you for stopping by. So I'm cutting it in 3 pieces. Alright, so this is the closest we have to a rectangle. So if I was making a lasagna, this is how I would have cut my noodles. So let me just show you how to use the cutter. And we're going to cut this into fettuccine. So we're going to put it in here. And then you see it falling through. And this is our first set of fettuccine. Alright guys, so I'm just going to put these in a little bundle right there. And again,
Miss Sunshine, good evening, Chef Barrett. The menu looks
good evening.
looks and sound delicious. Great job as usual.
Thank you. And we have another bundle right there.
Mario Mills, turmeric was as valuable as saffron. At some point in history, most women use it as makeup.
What is Mario saying? Hold on until I'm done. I can't hear you. There we go, guys. Alright, so these are our fettuccine. What I'm doing, I'm just going to hang them here just to dry out a little bit. I don't have my pasta hanger out tonight, so I'm just going to hang them here. Alright, what hanging the pasta does, it helps them to keep their little shape. So I'm just hanging them up. Alright, this part is totally optional. What was Mario saying?
Turmeric was as valuable as saffron at some point in history. most women use it like makeup.
I'm sure it is, because turmeric tastes good in food. It's good for skincare, but you know, everything, just as everything else, human beings decide how valuable a product is. I mean, I still don't get saffron. I still don't know what it really tastes like. I've bought saffron for too much money. I've used some of the best saffrons in the world. I feel that it's just so overrated. You know, it's subjected to taste and opinions. Saffron to me is like wine. You know, you'll be sitting drinking wine with a group of people and different persons are tasting different things. That's how I feel about saffron. But give me my turmeric every day, any day. I can tell you what it is. There's no mistake about my turmeric.
I am Chef Noel says love it.
Hey Chef. Alright guys.
Kedira says, hey fam. Kedira checking in from Jamaica, from Mount James, St. Andrew.
Hey fam. Alright guys, so that's my first set of pasta. Let's do some more. I have a pot of water boiling in my other kitchen, so we're gonna go around there and cook it. And the beauty about fresh pasta is that it cooks in a short time. Literally in 1 minute, this pasta is going to be cooked. Now, whenever you're cooking pasta, guys, 2 rules to remember. You're going to oversalt the water and you're going to undercook the pasta. It's very, very simple. I get very annoyed when pasta is overcooked. For catering restaurants and most restaurants in Jamaica, they tend to cook pasta and then cool it down. And then we cook it, and so most of that time, if you didn't undercook the pasta, by the time it gets to the customer, it is overcooked. So most people tend to come to love or to think that overcooked pasta is the way to go. No, pasta must be nice and firm to the bite. So if you have to cook it ahead of time, do not fully cook it in the first cook. You want to undercook it, or in Jamaican terms, cook it halfway. Shock it, meaning to cool it down quickly, add a little fat to it like oil to prevent it from sticking together, and then you store it accordingly. But I personally do not like to cook pasta ahead of time. Pasta is cooked so quickly, I prefer to cook it and serve it right away.
Mario Mills, it's the labor that drives the cost, not the product.
Look here, Mario, I see saffron fields, and if you're in the business, I see it and I see how they pick it and so on. I still think it's too expensive. I still think it's a little bit overrated like truffles. But guess what? Once there's a market, there is supply and there is demand. So, no disrespect to those people that love it. I am just not one of them. Okay,
First
so
Lady Joe says al dente. Rico Princess says hola.
hola. Just checking on my muffin, guys. They're smelling awesome. Could you go around and check if the water is boiling? So guys, this is your fresh pasta 101, and again, I'm a Jamaican. I love the flavor of our cuisine. I also love every other food, and so sometimes it's very simple. Whatever Jamaican food is to you, you can use it in whatever way you like. You know, just respect where it came from. For example, I'm respecting the way of making pasta from the Italians tonight, and I'm respecting the flavors from the Chinese the fermented flavors that they use to make their sauces. So it's all about respect. Never think that one cuisine is better than the next. Yes, we all have our favorite, but cuisine is culture, food is culture, and guess what? Food is a way of life. So two things I don't do: I never laugh at a person's cuisine or talk down to it, and I never talk down to a person's way of dress, all right? Because it may be their custom, and that is how they were taught to dress, just like how we eat the way we were taught to eat. We eat what we were introduced to as a child, right, guys? So, I'm making a big bowl of pasta tonight because pasta in my house goes very fast, especially this turmeric flavored one.
Mario, Chef, you are certified food critique. Stop apologizing.
No, you know, some persons will be offended because they don't listen. So I'm just saying, there's some things I like. So when I apologize, I just apologize to the persons who may just listen to part of my sentence and get a little offended, Mario. You know how it is. Okay, guys, so in Italy, they use a flour from a special wheat. It's called semolina. It's a little bit coarse in terms of texture. It's not as processed as our, say, our all-purpose flour or counter flour. It produces a pasta that takes a nice flavor and it is nice and firm when it is cooked. I cannot find that flour here, so whenever I'm making pasta at home, I tend to just add a little bit of cornmeal to it because the cornmeal reminds me of the semolina flour in some ways.
Mario Mills, them lucky.
Mario, stop it. Okay, so 2 down, 1 to go. You want to just put it in a little bit of flour to keep it from sticking. And then the last one, I couldn't find that thing
McPherson Catering says true word.
that I hang my pasta on whenever I make it, so I have to do it this way. So guys, don't fall asleep on me. Tell me where you're watching from, and also in the comments tell me a dish that you'd like for me to cook and simplify for you so you can make it at home for your family. So in the comment section, let me know a restaurant dish that you'd like to see how it is made. You've always wondered, how is this dish made? And you'd love for Chef Walker-Barrett to make it on the live and simplify it so that you guys can make it at home for your family. All right, let me stop and check my muffins. Alright, they're not done yet. I think my oven is a little bit high, so I'm going to turn it to 300 and continue baking. Alright, in about 10 minutes it should be ready. So water is on.
Hi, favorite Sue says is watching from Manchester.
Hi, Ali Flavored, welcome.
Miss Sunshine is watching from the UK.
Hey, Miss Sunshine, welcome. I think we're good with this. Alright, the thing about fresh pasta when you're making it, once you cook it, you have to just finish it and serve it, okay? So you need to have your sauces ready, your garnish ready, your plate ready, and everything before you actually put this pasta into boiling water, because it will overcook very, very quickly. So I'm gonna stop here. And these pastas, they feel a little bit dry already. So I hang them to show you. This is similar to the process of making dry pasta. So after you make it fresh, it's usually hung and then it gets dry and brittled, and then it is packaged and shipped to the stores. So here goes. Just clean up around me. I'm going to get everything else that I need ready.
Miss Am
So when
says,
could you reach that?
I am loving your care and detail.
Thank you. Get me that bowl.
Cherry
for
joined.
pasta.
Cherry's here.
Hey, Cherry.
Chef Shamar says, bless good evening, Chef and family. Thanks once more for sharing your wealth of culinary knowledge to the world. Much respect. Watching from Dubai.
Hey, where in Dubai are you? Dubai is one of my favorite places, you know, Shamar. So this is our pasta bowl. We're gonna fill it up with pasta. So I'm gonna put this off to the side. We have our chili sauce here. Ashelia, could you reach our spinach and tomatoes? We're just taking out everything we will be needing. We also have colander for straining our pasta when it is cooked. So colander check. And this is our salmon that we're going to be putting some ginger garlic on. I'm going to take up that from please. Okay, so let's take a little look at our prep. We have some spinach.
Stella is looking from Tiramisu. Is that how you pronounce Sarah?
Tiramisu. You'd like to know how tiramisu is made?
Oh, that's not a place?
Tiramisu is an Italian dessert.
Independent Diva Powell, looking fabulous, Simon.
Hey, Miss Powell, thank you. Guys, I love these tomatoes. I think they remind me a lot of my dad. So I put them in everything, all when I don't need to. My dad used to plant these tomatoes, and as a child, we would just snack on them because they were so sweet. He used to refer to them as tomates, you know. And these were always available all year round. So whatever he's cooking, he would say to me, Sim, go outside and pick some tomatoes. And you know, it's like those tomato bush, they're always bearing. So every time I see these cherry tomatoes in the supermarket, all when I don't want it, I buy it. Sometimes I just buy it and just snack on it at my desk at work. Sometimes the poor tomatoes, I buy them and they stay in the fridge and go bad. But they remind me of my dad, so I always pick them up.
Nikkei Gooden, always a pleasure watching you cook.
Thank you, Nikkei. Okay guys, so we have some salmon. So I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks back I made salmon. So I bought one fillet of salmon and I've been, you know, this Jamaican word, skenging it. I don't know if you guys use that word anymore. It means that you use just a little bit. So this is my third dinner from that investment of $2,600. So it worked out quite well. It's 4 of us and I'm using it 3 times. So that would have been what? You do the math. It worked out. So the startup cost was a little bit much, but if you check it, it's not that much expensive more than snappers. Snappers in Jamaica now is between $900 and $10.50 per pound. So if you can buy snapper, You can buy a piece of salmon and treat yourself, guys. You work hard, so you need to treat yourself once in a while. So this is what is happening to the pasta as it sits. It gets a little bit dry, which is fine. Let me just open these so that they can dry out too. The drier the better for cutting. And then I'm going to start now by making our sauce. Where's my flour? Just a little flour, guys. Make sure it doesn't stick. Alright, and this one I'll just open it on the tray. We're gonna let these dry a little bit more, and then they're gonna get cut and cooked. Rolling pin out the way. So right now I'm just starting because the second part of our dinner is going to be ready quickly. Somebody said they would like to see me make a tiramisu. That was what one of the answers.
She does the one.
All right. Come on, guys. Tell me a restaurant dish that you would love to see how it is done. You always either purchase it at the restaurant and wonder how it is made, or you've read about it, you've seen it, the name somewhere, and you wonder, how is this dish made? Let me know. All right. Did you unplug the fridge around there?
Yes, I am.
All right. So stove is gonna go on now, guys. I'm gonna put our stove on.
You're going to cook on the stove right now?
Huh?
You're going to cook on the stove right now?
I'm gonna cook on this stove here.
Yes.
Yes, this is what the
So
stove.
why do you put this open here?
Center the camera so that they can see from left to right, right to left. This can't come over here because the cord is not long enough. Okay, guys, so the stove is on and we're gonna heat this up and we're gonna start making our salmon. And then I'm going to, my pasta water is on around the back. So Dwayne is going to be on pasta duty. He's going to put them in the water. And dinner is going to be served. Let's look again on our muffins. Muffins are ready, so we are going to take them out. And this is what the muffin looks like. Okay. Alright, so I'll show you. And then cool down a little bit. And I'll show you guys.
Nicolette Summers, good evening.
Hey Nicolette.
Suzanne Campbell says, I would love for you to make a paella rice dish from Spain.
Okay, a paella, I can do that. A paella can be done very easily on the live. We made a paella, Caribbean style. 2 months ago at Streetfoodsaturdays, we had a paella on our menu. So, I'm adding about a tablespoon of oil in my pot, and this is for our salmon. This is what our salmon pieces looks like. I season this salmon with a little bit of Chinese 5-spice, garlic powder, ginger powder, and of course some salt to taste. This salmon, I am going to sear it. Searing means to brown. So I'm going to brown it up on all sides, and then I'm going to remove it. Then I'm going to be making my glaze directly into my pot. Add the salmon back to it so that the salmon can take the flavor of the glaze. And the glaze is made with sweet vinegar, light soy sauce. And whenever you're purchasing soy sauce, you want to get the good ones, the ones that are in Chinese that you can't really read it. Those are the better ones to use, in my opinion. And so yes, that's going to be our glaze, and we added a little bit of sugar in there because even though the vinegar is sweet, it is still a vinegar, so it doesn't hurt to balance it out with a little bit of sweetness. Okay, so we want to make sure this gets
pie would be nice.
So we have three requests: tiramisu, shepherd's pie, and paella. Okay, so those three, we are going to facilitate those requests. Maybe we could make the paella next week, who knows. It's pretty straightforward. And you know, whatever I make, guys, I am going to add my Jamaican Caribbean spin to it while respecting its origin and its original flavor. So here goes. So for our salmon, so we get frozen salmon in Jamaica. We don't get the fresh ones. So what I like to do, I like to dredge it with just a little bit of cornstarch or flour. What it does, it prevents it from sticking when it goes into the pot. I wish you could smell this, guys, that 5 spice and that ginger that went on to this salmon. Just smells so good. So we're gonna let it hang out and brown up.
Corey says she would love to see your spin of the shepherd's pie.
Okay, right, and shepherd's pie. So shepherd's pie is traditionally made with lamb or sheep, or what we call in Jamaica mutton. So that is not a very hard request. So you would either stew the mutton boneless, and then you add some root vegetables in, and then you put it in a casserole dish and put creamy mashed potato, depending on where in the world you're from, with a little bit of cheese, and then you bake it. So yes, those dishes are not hard to show you how they're done.
Best Chelsea says mala fish or chicken.
Mala fish or chicken. Okay, Chelsea, so mala chicken.
Corey says tried your mango carrot muffins and they were so great.
Oh, thank you so much, Corey, for trying our mango carrot muffin. I love mango so much. I just love to eat them fresh. I hardly ever make something else with them. So I'm glad that you found the mango carrot muffin interesting. So guys, salmon is a freshwater fish. It is oily, meaning that it has oil in its flesh and also in its liver. So it has vitamin A, D, E, and K in it. Salmon, as I said, they're not from Jamaica. It's an imported product like many of our other cuisine ingredients. It's a little bit pricey, and truth to be told, it is pricey depending where you're at all over the world. So I don't feel too bad. Because it is an oily fish, a lot of people do not know how to treat it. It has a strong smell, and so some persons just totally avoid the salmon.
Corey says I don't even like mangoes that much, but those are great.
Yes, that's the beauty about baking, Corey. Sometimes when you bake with a fruit or vegetable, the vegetable or fruit takes on a whole different vibe. So our salmon is nice and brown. It has firm up. It has a brown color. So those are all signs of doneness. I'm going to take them out. Wait till you go around the back and bring the cornstarch for me. It's in a white bag in the crate with black writing on the plastic bag that says cornstarch. So I'm going to remove these, ladies and gentlemen, put them back in my plate, and then we're going to make our glaze and then combine everything together. All right, and be very careful not to scratch up my pot. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is our glaze, and it's not a lot. All right, so we're just gonna give it a spin around. And guys, I wish you could smell this. It smells like ginger and garlic. And so we'll put back our salmon in, and we give it a stir around in our pot. And at this point is where I add the tomatoes. Give them a little, kind of feel like it needs a little bit more garlic. So I have some roasted garlic. Let me just grab a clove and add to it. Garlic. I do these other things, guys, and save them. So like, I'll just roast some garlic and just save it for whenever I need it. Roasted garlic. Garlic has natural sugar in them, so when you roast them, they take on a sweetness. And so the only thing that could make this glazed salmon much better now is some scallions that I did not remember to cut, but no worries. So anything that is glazed must look glazed. If you notice, the salmon takes on that beautiful shine coat, and that's what we want. So this, we're just going to turn this off, push this off to the side, and we're going to cook our pasta and come right back and finish our dinner. So let's cut the remaining pasta, turn our stove off, put back our garlic in the fridge. Dwayne, if you can go around the back and take a piece of scallion in the fridge. Turn up the pasta water, please. Add some salt to it. Salt is right here. Just taste the water if it have when you add the salt, just to make sure. Alright guys, so back to cutting pasta. So I am going to put these that are already cut off to my bowl. They're nice and dried out a little. They feel a little bit brittle, and that is what we want. Where's my knife? Use the knife? Okay. And we're gonna start cutting our pasta. Alright, nice close up for the guys. Happen.
It's piercing.
Okay, here it goes. set down. Let me know when that water is ready. Add a little flour so that when you're passing it through the cutter, it goes on smoothly, just like this. This is what we want to see. And that goes in here. Almost there, guys. Almost at the finish. Almost at the finish line with our dinner. Want to make sure. I told you that this is going to be cooked. If you turn the fire off, this is going to be cooked in no time. So you can add whatever you like to your pasta. You can add spices to jazz it up, or you can add vegetables or herbs. So like parsley, spinach, beets, carrots, pumpkin, all of those vegetables can be added to pastas. Which one is this one? So we're done cutting our pasta, so I'm just gonna remove this, put it over this side, and clean up, and then I'm going to go straight to the stove. So I'm gonna be gone for a little bit, so Sheila can show you the salmon. Now, very important when you're making pasta, it's good to save a little bit of the pasta water. So you want to take some out. So I'm taking my cup with me so I can save some pasta water. Pasta water helps to add back some moisture to the pasta when you're cooking it, so that's why we save some. Here's our dish to put our salmon in. So while I'm gone, Ashelia put the salmon to this dish. And I'll see you back here shortly, guys. I'm just gonna boil our pasta and come right back. Oh, I need a spoon. Wooden spoon check. Colander check. Okay, so our pasta, I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes, and whenever I hear the bell ring, I know it's time to go and strain my pasta. Go in, did you find that scallion for me? Okay guys, let me just center this so you can have a good look. So we're gonna turn our stove back on, turn it down, and this is where we add our chili oil. We have our pasta plate, we have our veggies. So I'm gonna put my vegetables in, just here. Put my veggies in, guys. So that, and this is where the chili oil goes in. This is hot stuff. So I'm putting 2 tablespoons of the oil. What we're doing at this point, we are just reheating the green beans. We're reheating our green beans. Give it a stir. So I kept the green beans in their natural form because they mimic the shape of the fettuccine. So I felt that it would be nice to keep them that way. For our glazed salmon, I'm just going to use my kitchen shear and just cut some scallions. I feel that it needed some scallions, so I'm just cutting some scallions on it. After all, we're using what? Asian flavors. So the scallion is quite fitting for this. Remind me guys, I put the timer on for 2 minutes for my pasta. You know what, let me go and check, because I don't want that pasta to overcook. I would just kick myself. Alright, so let me go and check on our pasta. Give an eye on this, Ash. Give it a little stir around until I come back. Okay, I'm back with the pasta.
Cheryl Jenkins, please repeat the ingredients and method for the chili oil.
Hold on, Cheryl. The chili oil is made with West Indian red chili peppers. So those are the red peppers. I don't know if any of you know this, but Scotch bonnet peppers are not red. They're always yellow, so they turn from green to yellow. So those, once you see red hot peppers in the market, they are West Indian red chili peppers. They're not Scotch bonnet peppers. Alright, so these are our spinach. So the chili oil is made with minced garlic, minced onion, and minced West Indian red chili peppers. So all I'm doing here, I'm letting the residual heat melt. This is what our pasta looks like. Isn't that something? Okay. And then gently we combine everything. And we go in with the chili oil, lots of it. This thing is awesome. I mean, not so much that it's gonna make it oily, but it's the chili oil really makes this dish. So for chili oil, even if you want to make it with a Scotch bonnet, no problem. It's finely chopped hot peppers, finely chopped garlic, finely chopped ginger, and the ratio is 2-1-1. So what that means is if you have 1 cup of chopped pepper, you're going to need half cup of garlic and half cup of what?
Trini says good night, chef. Good
Adding a
night,
little
fellow
pasta
viewers.
water. Huh?
Trini says good night, chef. Good night, fellow viewers.
Good night. So this is our pasta with our Asian flavors on it, and that's all there is.
First Lady Jewel says, oh wow.
So now guys, we are gonna plate this beauty. Turn the stove off.
First Lady Jules, it's so amazing when you have the right kitchen utensils and equipment.
Oh yes, and you know what I find? I left the towel around there going. It's not difficult to find the right utensils in Jamaica, and they're not expensive. You go to your supermarket, you walk down the kitchen aisle, you see something that you can purchase to make cooking goes a lot faster. So guys, get in the habit of buying some of these utensils so that you can make cooking go so much faster. Alright. So now we add our glazed salmon on top. And as customary in my family, everybody help themselves to the food. Okay? Everybody's always family style at my house. Always family style. So our glazed salmon is on top. Little cherry tomatoes, or 2 servings of vegetables. Our salmon is on top, and that's all there is to the dinner, guys. Dinner is served. Just scattering the tomatoes over. Dinner is served, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheryl Jenkins, the dish.
Take a look. And we will have the chili oil on the side for those who want more pepper. Let's leave the spoon in it. Clean up. And now I am going to look at our muffins. Alright, so here are our dessert. Let me just get something to put them on.
Miss Abs says yum. First Lady Jules says love the color contrast.
Thank you, Jules. So, see, the muffin comes out easy when you take the time to line the container. All
Ray
right.
Sunshine says, amazing dinner set, chef. Enjoy watching. Good night.
Good night. So guys, remember we did a little surprise inside. Look at that. This is the cream cheese.
Time for this thing.
Okay, so we're gonna get off so we can save the live, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll stay on with Facebook. Thank you, Instagram peeps. This is what